So I want to share with you today how I told God that I wanted a divorce. And it wasn't out of frustration, it was just a decision. I wasn't upset. I was in a place where I wanted to be now in my life. And I just had in my mind, came to the conclusion that it wouldn't be fixed and that I wanted to, you know, raise our children, you know, by myself. And so, honestly, I thought God would agree with me because of my facts, right? And his response was completely what I did not expect. And so, the day that it happened, I was on my way to work and I was standing at a bus stop, west side of Chicago. And on my way to work, and I was standing there and I was talking to God and I just told God, God, I want a divorce. I don't want to be married. And his first what I first audibly heard was um he wanted me to stay. And I disagreed and told him that I didn't want to stay. And then I gave my reasons why I didn't want to stay. Because we all knowing, I'm all knowing at that time, right? Uh, and my emotions and my feelings about what had expired, what had went on in our marriage was, you know, what had went on in our marriage, and that, God, you've seen what happened. You know I wasn't, felt what what I felt. And so he still came back with these words. And they were, but there are consequences to you getting a divorce. Guys, when he said that, I didn't blink. I did not blink to even consider what he meant, what consequences was he talking about. I didn't ask him, okay, well, what are the consequences? Like, is this something I should be concerned about? I didn't ask any of those questions. I immediately responded with, okay, but with you, I can handle the consequences. Now, he says that he be looking at us and I know he be laughing at us because, daughter, what do you mean you can handle the consequences? And who says that if you do this, because I'm telling you there are consequences, that I'm gonna be there. And as a parent, our kids do what they do and we still be there. But we still be looking at them like you're gonna figure some of this out. You're gonna feel some of this pain from your choice and from your decision. And y'all, I never could, when I say that never crossed my mind, even that I would feel some type of pain by his word, by the word consequence. I was just, listen, what I can tell you is that pride will have you just out your mind. So I tell him, well, okay, well, as long as you are with me, that's no problem. I can handle the consequences. As long as you're there with me, the consequences is no problem. And again, what does It's like I thought the word consequences was walking through a valley of a dandelion, right? And just I don't listen. When I look back and I think about my response and my care to the word from listen, my care from the word from God of the word consequences. That I didn't even care about the word. But that all stemmed from because I wanted to do what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. But let me just say this. I'm thinking that I'm using the excuse of I'm doing this for my children. No, I was doing it for me. I was being selfish and I was doing it for me, right? And he did not, this is what I will say. He did not say that my feelings were invalid. He did not say, when I said, but this is how I feel because he didn't say no, those feelings are inaccurate. No, he feels this way. He didn't say any of that. Now, he didn't say any of that. But what he did say and what his concern was the future, right? His concern was what I would have to go through because of this decision. Like, and again, I'm not paying any attention, right? I'm not caring anything about the future. I'm not caring anything. I'm right now. I was in my right now. I'm dealing with these feelings and these emotions, and I want them over, and I don't care about anything else. That's all I was thinking about, right? And he was trying to say, but it's more than that, right? And so that was my response to his um his rebuttal of but there'll be consequences. And so I walked away with basically, well, God, we together can handle these consequences. And this is just my choice, what I want to do. And so I didn't get a divorce right away, like immediately after that day. But instead, what I did do is I kind of made a deal also because I really didn't care what the consequences were. And listen, never not care what the consequences are. But I really didn't care what the consequences were. And I caught myself trying to instead maybe make a deal for the consequences to be better or not so bad. So I tell him, okay, so what I won't be in a relationship until I'm divorced. I won't talk to anybody like in a relationship romantic type of way. And I will not, you know, be intimate with any. I'll keep myself until the divorce. Listen, you heard me say keep myself. Who can keep themselves? Can you keep yourself? No, you cannot keep yourself. So all the way around, y'all, I'm needing him for consequences. I'm needing him. I'm needing. I'm needing him to help me keep myself. I'm needing him to help not help me to not go against my word of talking to somebody or dating somebody. I need him to help me in this new environment because I didn't you uprooted my kids and myself, and we are in a new place, a new city. So I need him for all of these things. but I'm still yet doing what, but I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm not thinking about nobody. But I'm thinking about my kids. But I'm not thinking. No, no, I'm not thinking about nobody. And I know those that believe in the self love, and but God said that there will be consequences. Let's what does that mean? Right? And even let's go back to us asking, right? When we have come to a place where we want to make a decision and we're asking him, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna need you to stay there. Why are we fighting to stay there? Why are we fighting to stay there? Because if I can trust him in the consequences, through the consequences, he not gonna be there through the stay there. He's not gonna be through the okay. Well, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Don't let me work it out, or let me fix it. Let me try to let me do this. But no, when we ready to go, because we done made up our mind and we just ready to go, right? But again, I'm saying I could trust God in the consequences, but I couldn't trust him in okay, God, you said, you want me to stay. I couldn't trust him in the you want me to stay, but I could trust him in the consequences. Whew. Pride, pride. Let me tell you, I could trust you that you gonna take care of me and these kids as a single parent. And let's get to that. I didn't even consider. Listen, I just knew, and then that's another thing. Pride will have you just knowing that you know, and you don't know, because I just know that we was gonna be single. We were gonna be co-parenting. I wasn't gonna be a single parent. So wait a minute. Consequences, though. Consequences. And then I didn't make the decision to go ahead and go file for papers that particular day. And I waited maybe a couple of years, and I never talked to him about it again. Like, I just went on to begin to live my life in this new in this new decision, right? And you know, it felt like it was good. It felt like it was a good decision. But then now looking back on hindsight and seeing all of the consequences that were happening then, that seemed like just little slight hiccups, right? Oh, no big matter. Just glide right through that, right? And then it came the time for the actual divorce. And this is another thing. So I had not been thinking about the divorce after the conversation, and I really still hadn't considered staying, right? Staying in a marriage. So and let me tell you how situations come up. Lady at work, she all of a sudden she just got a divorce. Okay. So she's got a divorce. She happy, like it's almost like a party over here type of happy. Oh. So and you can get a divorce and it be like party over here, party over here. What who ma'am, who was your lawyer? What law firm did you go through? What's their number? And that's how I end up filing. Because the lady at work close to me had gotten a divorce, and When her divorce was final, it was party over here, and I signed up. And that's how I end up going to get the papers and paying for the divorce. Now, had uh God's response been different, what would we have had uh different consequences? I'm still I'm sharing this story because I understand that there are things in our times in our lives when we like this not it. I've made a mistake, and God, I want out. And a lot of times we also will not go to God because we don't want him to say, uh, you know, hold on, um, I need you to stay in this a little bit longer, right? Because we have people that also tell us that, hard times or hard situations, that God doesn't want you in a hard situation. God doesn't want you crying. God doesn't want, certain things that seems to be uh, uncomfortable or a displeasure, a displeasure. But we have to find that thing out for ourselves. And I will admit, I did not even during the time of being married for a year, because I left before the year. I left before it was an entire year. hmm And I'll tell you all about that transition. But I left before it was a year, and God had every right to say, "Wait a minute, hold on. You haven't even given it a full. You didn't even stay in it a full year." But the things that I've learned throughout now that experience, my life, I which is why I share what I share here on this channel about reading the word for yourself, why that is so important, about knowing the Holy Spirit, having the Holy Spirit in your life to lead you, guide you, direct you, lead you into all truths, show you the future, show you, listen. That is the reason why I have this channel. So it's also, as it says, the Titus 2 woman channel, to show you how to have self-control, how we can have self-control, how we can have integrity, all of these things, how we can have grace for people, right? And so I'm gonna come back and tell you the consequences that were experienced from me telling God that I wanted a divorce. And I will tell you, yes, he walked with me through each and every one of the consequences, and still yet dealing with consequences, and he's still with me. But was the consequence painless? Not at all. And so until I sat down and actually listened, and I had to write down all the things that I've learned. There was so many things that I end up that I've learned, that made me grow, that strengthened me as well, through the consequences. But there could have been a painless way for me to learn and experience these things, right? And so if this video speaks to you, drop a comment. And if you know someone who is on the fence, that's between, again, a decision that's there, or have a decision that, that they truly, need to take to God, I ask that you would share this video with them. Share this video, become a subscriber, and until next time, part 2, where I tell you the consequences, guys. And thank you so much for being with me here on the Titus 2 channel.